You talked about China being not so much a nation as an empire, and that all empires are destined to fall if we look at history. How can we be so sure about China? Isn't it different?
I think all empires were different and the same in many ways, And I think, of course, every empire is different. The Chinese Empire is different from the British Empire and the Mongol Empire and the Manchu Empire. But at the same time, at the fundamental level, they're all the same because they are empires. Their rule is based on fear, lack of legitimacy, on use of military force, and any entity that is based on these kinds of strengths and lack fundamental legitimacy to rule over the people that they control and occupy is definitely bound to fail. And I think that's the same with the Chinese Empire also.
What, in your opinion, can the U.S. government do, or should it not do, in this to help along this process? I mean, this what you call the inevitable fall of the Chinese Empire. Is there something that it can do, or something that it should not do?
Absolutely, I think there are both. The U.S. government. The last thing the U.S. government should be doing is assisting the growth and expansion and the antics of the Chinese Empire. When the U.S. government encourages the Chinese government's temper tantrums, every time the Chinese government demands something, every time the Chinese government demands that the U.S. President not meet with the Dalai Lama, or every time the Chinese government demands that Ms. Rabia Kadir not be given a visa to another country, I think the states and the governments and heads of states of those nations should not indulge the Chinese government in those activities, because the more we indulge them, the more it feeds them to behave like this in the future. And there's definitely things that the U.S. government should be doing in order to support freedom and human rights and democracy. There are values that we really cherish over here. And these are values that we should be supporting in the rest of the world also. And I think the real relationship that the U.S. government should be having with China, Tibet, and the Uyghurs should be in the form of engaging and helping the Chinese people who are advocating and fighting for democracy, the Tibetan people who are advocating and fighting for freedom and human rights, and the Uyghurs who are doing the same. And the U.S. government can do that in many different ways, through financial assistance, but also through moral encouragement, political recognition of the leaders and the people. And some of these the American government has already been doing, and I think it may look a little like symbolism only in some of the some of the perspectives, but I think in many different movements, if symbolism is all they get, symbolism matters. And until we get a more concrete kind of political support and economic and social support, I think we should only be building toward that, not taking away the symbolism just because it's not strong enough. What we need is more pressure, not less.
Thank you. I think that's fine.